In order to gain a greater understanding of this Bay Area Muslim community and their values, we found some high school students who frequent the Prospect Center to ask them about what they do there, their reactions to the New Zealand shooting, and how the community has shaped them.
A lot of the people here, they're professionals at work, but when they're here, it's just like they're your neighbor. They're anybody else that you would have just found walking on the street, except they consider themselves your brothers and your sisters. But we're always open to meeting new people, and like when you come here, like perhaps you see a face that isn't as familiar, you might say hi to them, say, have you been here before? That's really the atmosphere and the attitude that goes on here.
So we have kind of like a curriculum established, like a loose curriculum. It's like a comic book series over like some just like moral teachings that are a part of Islam, and we read that once a week and then we discuss it together.
What are some main goals you have as like a teacher or like a mentor for the kids?
I think just teaching them like like we're not trying to teach them like the rulings or like, oh, wear a hijab and anything like that, but it's more just like you have to be a good person. Like right now we're talking about like forgiveness and like how if you do something wrong to someone, you have to be there to apologize. It's not enough to just move on. So that's what we're working on right now. And then we kind of bring in like the Islamic aspect with that, with like, so in Islam, our God, Allah, has 99 different attributes or things that he is. So the curriculum is kind of based on those. So right, he has like those 99 attributes, which are kind of like names. And so we work on those names, and that's what the curriculum is like centered around. So right now we're working on his name, the Forgiver. And so we bring that into their daily aspect with like, if you do something wrong to someone or someone does something wrong to you, what are you supposed to do? And it goes both ways.
This is like during finals week, it can be a little like tough. But like in general, it's really like you do like really less work. And like sometimes we FaceTime just to like start up on our curriculum, you know, talk about it and stuff. But it's like 5 minutes, like a 5-minute chat, and it's not that bad. It's not that time consuming, and it's just like kind of fun also for us.
Yeah, it's like kind of like a fun thing now, and like I feel like whatever we're putting in is definitely worth it. Like if you're able to teach even 10 kids something, and then like the next, like people, like someone will come to me next week and be like, you know what, I used that this week, like I complimented someone, and that's I think what makes it like worth it.
Mm-hmm. There's definitely a lot of different, I'd say, misconceptions and stigmas that might surround being labeled as Muslim. I definitely remember even other Muslim people not sure how to feel when they saw a person who is of Asian descent wearing a headscarf, praying alongside them. I think a lot of what Islam became to me came from what my community gave me. Sometimes my community gave me, you can't be Muslim because you're a convert's daughter. Other communities like this one right here would say, we'll welcome you with open arms and we'll give you everything you could possibly need, even if you don't actually accept the religion in the end. They're very open to giving parts of themselves without anything in return. There has been a couple incidents, one that involved myself this year and one last year, which was actually a little bit more aggressive, where one student commented on a Muslim girl's scarf, also known as hijab, and called it a towel, which is extremely offensive. However, either because of arrogance or because of, you know, pure disdain, some people feel the entitlement to such an adjective, which we do not think kindly of. And I really do appreciate the Prospect atmosphere of, I will speak up for myself if I really have to. And last year this happened to one of my closer friends, and it got into a verbal fight. But at the same time, my friend is one of those people who are just kind of, they have to really express themselves. They can't contain it. And I don't blame her for feeling that extent of anger or frustration. And the administration did their best to try to mediate it and resolve it, but I still think that it left a little bit of hostility between the two parties that were involved.
Nowadays, media is portraying us as, well, not just media, just people in general. They're portraying us as, you know, terrorists or, you know, something that's, you know, doesn't belong in America. So it's just like we expect it now. It's not a new thing for us.
I personally felt like it was definitely a horrible thing that happened, and then what made me feel a little bit like a lot worse was that people justifying it or trying to show like, oh, the guy was bullied because he was chubby, that's why he did it. And I was like, that you don't go and kill like 50 people because you were bullied for being chubby. I'm sorry what happened, but no. But then at the same time, I think if we look at it in a positive light, I think this immense support we have gotten from the community. Like just today for like Friday prayers, we had a lot of people come and literally make like a giant ring around the
Prime
whole.
Minister too, as
like-
well. The Prime Minister, she wore a hijab and she quoted, you know, some quotes from our prophet that we follow, and she was really kind about it, and she, you know, was really supportive of the Muslim community, and it was really beautiful.
Yeah, and I think just like being able to now like, again, because like I feel like a lot of the times when something happens to the Muslim community or something happens to Muslims in particular, they're kind of put under the microscope, like, oh, what are they gonna do now? Or like when something is said about us, what are we gonna do? And a lot of times we have to be a lot more careful about what we say and what we do, because you never know how someone takes that. But I think in wake of this like attack and stuff like that, the support we have gotten kind of shows that like not everyone out there is, you know, like stigmatized about this or like stereotypical, and kind of just showing that like a lot of people have like, you know, seen a different side of Islam after this, like realize that no, they're not people who want to hurt others, and we're actually just like peaceful, normal people. And I think as long as people realize that like people who do acts of terror from any religion, Muslim, Christianity, anything, they're not, just because they associate themselves with that religion doesn't mean everyone is like that. And so if someone, like any person who calls themselves Muslim and then does a terrorist attack, nothing in Islam says that, like there's nothing that's backing them there, and so they just kind of like stick that label on them, and then it kind of like makes it worse for the rest of us who really haven't done anything and don't even stand by them.
الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم